Hello folks, my name is David Smith. Today I want to present my tool chest, or actually Samuel Dunk's tool chest, which he built approximately 1810 as his final exam to pass his carpenter joiner's 7-year apprenticeship. So it's a beautiful old chest. The rare thing about this is I know who built it, when it was built, and I even have a picture of Mr. Samuel Dunk. I'll let him watch us do this. Samuel Dunk was born in 1786, Kent, England. He died in 1869 in Seymour Township, near Campbellford, Ontario, Canada. He married Sarah Jane when he was 26 years old, in England still. And he had 3 sons. So I have Samuel Dunk's will as well. It is dated 10th of August, 1864. And in this will, he gives his son William Dunk the turning lathe, flint plow, and flooring planes, handrail planes, molding planes, sash planes, and grooving planes. So all of that was separated out of this box on his death. So his son, George Dunk, received his tool chest with all the other tools not enumerated in the foregoing bequest to William. So it is an incomplete box. It was incomplete when I got it.
Got it.
However, I have tried to refill the tools from the right era. I have several of his tools in here which have names on them, but they aren't his original tools. They are tools from the right era. So what we want to do today here is unload this tool chest, and I have not looked in this tool chest in about 5 years. I've added a few things to it over time, and so we're going to look at it and we're going to see what's in here. Should be interesting because these tools are correct vintage. First of all, we have a compass. It has copper fittings, which will open eventually if I can manage it.
Yes.
This comes out here. Comes in here. It has notches in it for different sizes. Beautiful old quality tool. That comes apart, folds down, locks together.
Beautiful.
Locks back in. Next we have a gouge. Working with wood. Perhaps I should mention, when a carpenter in these days was asked to build a house, if he was lucky, a load of logs arrived in the yard. And from this load of logs, he was asked to build a house. So these tools are enough to take a round log and turn it into a square beam, because all the houses in those days and barns were made out of beams. It's called timber framing. This is one of the tools, gouges. A large mortising chisel. This is a beauty. Carpenter Slick, this is called. I believe it has some writing on it. Here. This is for smoothing down cleaning out the mortises and for cleaning up rough spots on beams. Here we have a froe. This is for splitting logs. You would use your mallet, put it on your log. You can make shingles with this, or you can just split logs and make laths and such out of it. You use it like this. So you cut a block of wood, usually about 18 inches high, usually cedar, to make shingles with. And you put this on here and split your shingles. They would be called shakes, actually, in that case. They're pan split like that. These are molding planes. So they make different grooves in the wood for all different trim work and such. This is adjustable. So you run that down through there and you make a nice molded edge on a board. You might think screwdriver, but this is actually called a turn screw in those days. Pre-screwdriver. They called them turn screws. This should have a flat end on it. Needs a bit of a grinding job. Here we have a bevel. We're setting an angle. Take your turn screw and tighten this up a little bit so it stays in place a little bit better. Set your angle so you can get repetitive angles on a board. You can make the same angle on a bunch of boards. It's called a bevel. Here we have a beautiful little mallet. This is for wood carving, probably. So you have a small chisel, which we have in here. We'll get to them later. Here we have a plow plane. This is an English manufacturer, of course. It has wedges in here. Slide this back and forth. It'll work better than this if you use it every day, I'm sure. But that would cut your an edge here, cutting a board. Beautifully made. Cool. Mm-hmm. Draw knife. This is a very small draw knife. Smoothing a board. Cutting shapes, perhaps. Good for making axe handles and such like that. Hammer handles. A lot of different uses for that. A draw knife. This is a rabbet plane. Blades at the edge on both sides, so you can kind of groove that into a board and have it come right to the edges. It's called a rabbet plane. Here we have a draw knife, or a spoke shave actually. It's sort of like a draw knife, but it's a spoke shave. It's for finer work. They're usually made spokes for wooden wheels with them. That's why they call them spoke shaves. Draw them toward you like this as well. It peels the wood up through here. This is a cordless drill. The idea of this is, I don't think this is quite working properly. I think it needs a, you wind it up like this, on here like this, and you have a drill bit in here. There's no drill bit today, but there's normally a drill bit in there. And you push this down like this, and that turns it. Now if you get good at this, the idea of this flywheel here is you get enough momentum going that it spins it, and then it spins it enough that it winds your
Back up.
string back up again. And then you can just keep on pumping it. It's called a pump drill, actually. You just keep pumping it like that. But you'd have to get good at that, and I've never used this because I'm too young. That's a pump drill. Here we have a marking gauge. This is to draw a line down the side of a board. And it's got wedges in it, in English fashion. And it has a little cutting knife right here to mark your board. So you figure out how far you want to move into the edge of your board, put your wedge in, and run it down the side of the board. Puts a mark down the side of your board. So if you wanted to rip it more or something. Here we have a brace. Very old, a small brace for doing small fine work. This man did some fine work. He was a joiner as well as a carpenter, so he did a lot of veneer work. When you start looking at this box, I'm going to show you later, it's all veneered. And dovetailed. Smoothing plane, missing its blade. The wedge holds the blade in there. We have no blade today. We have a small hacksaw for cutting metal. You would have to cut a few screws and things like that occasionally. Another rabbit plane. This one's a sort of slew plane because it has an angle on it. Got another rabbit plane. Here we have a mallet. This is the heaviest wood ever made. Lingam vitum, I believe it's pronounced. It's the heaviest wood. It's the only wood that does not float. Very heavy. Good mallet.